He's got Megatron dead center in his viewfinder. That's right, today we're sharing 5 Transformers facts about Cliffjumper. Like this video and let me know which is your favourite version of Cliffjumper and whether you're excited about the possibility of a Missing Link Cliffjumper following the recent leaks. Fact 1. Making his first on-screen appearance in the first episode of the G1 Sunbow Transformers cartoon, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, Cliffjumper's toy was imported by Hasbro into the Transformers in 1984 from Takara. But unlike most of the Autobot cars from 1984, Cliffjumper is an import from Microchange rather than the Diaclone toy line. Japanese toy designer Masaki Moriyama created Cliffjumper's original toy as part of the Takara MC4 Mini Car Robo small car assortment, which consisted of a mix of realistic and super deformed penny racer toy cars, with what would become Cliffjumper's toy falling into the latter camp. Takara named Cliffjumper's Microchange toy 1 Porsche 924 Turbo, and as the name suggests, the toy's design takes inspiration from a Porsche 924 Turbo. While Cliffjumper is synonymous with being red, his pre-Transformers toy was also available in blue and yellow. Confusingly, in the first year of the Transformers toy line, Cliffjumper's G1 toy was available in red and yellow, with the yellow version retroactively referred to as Bumper or Bumble Jumper due to Cliffjumper's G1 toy being so similar in design to Bumblebee's. Because Cliffjumper and Bumblebee's G1 toys are so similar, some Transformers fans have mistakenly assumed that Cliffjumper is a redeco of Bumblebee. While Cliffjumper shares engineering with the yellow bug, his toy has a definitively separate mould. Fact 2. Did you know that Cliffjumper wasn't originally going to be called Cliffjumper? When Marvel Comics' Bob Budiansky was writing the bios and tech specs for the original Transformers, he initially planned to name Cliffjumper Blowout, but later changed the name. Cliffjumper's original bio states his recklessness often leads to actual blowouts and situations too dangerous for him to handle. While this perfectly encapsulates his characterization in the early episodes of the G1 Sunbow cartoon, it alludes to his unused name. Interestingly, Hasbro later used the name Blowout for a Generation 2 Transformer, but dropped the hyphen from the name. Fact 3. Cliffjumper suffered a similar fate to Bumblebee. After his initial run in the mid-80s, he disappeared into obscurity, only resurfacing in the 2000s. However, he ended up being released as a redeco of Bumblebee toys for quite some time, feeding into the misconception that he was a redeco of Bumblebee. It took until 2020 for Cliffjumper to get his first dedicated G1 style mould, which he got with the Earthrise release, which was later redecoed for the Studio Series 86 buzzworthy Bumblebee release we're showing in this video. In a change in the status quo, this mould was later redecoed for Bumblebee for his release in the War for Cybertron Netflix toy line. Cliffjumper did get other toys released in other Transformers toy lines, with the Unicron trilogy giving him his first proper new toy and on-screen appearance. He got a Minicon toy in Transformers Armada, and an on-screen appearance and Mega-class toy in Transformers Energon. Since then, Cliffjumper has had numerous other appearances in Transformers media. However, his demise in the first episode of Transformers Prime and the Bumblebee movie seems to have earned him a bit of a Star Trek-esque red shirt status as a cursed bot. Fact 4. I'm moving a little into theory territory here, but hear me out. There are a few moments in the 3-part pilot of the G1 Sunbow Transformers cartoon where the main plot of the entire series hinges on the actions of a handful of characters. I covered this in my Skywarp 5 Facts video, where I discussed how Skywarp being awakened by Teletran 1 before the other Transformers was essential to the series continuing how it did. Well, Cliffjumper has one of these moments. In More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, Hound and Cliffjumper find the Decepticons. After Hound uses a listening device to allow him to hear their plans, Cliffjumper aims his somewhat oversized blaster, stating, "I've got Megatron dead center in my viewfinder." After Hound protests, Cliffjumper takes the shot but misses, alerting the Decepticons to their presence, which causes them to flee while Laserbeak pursues them. Had Cliffjumper made the shot and taken down Megatron, arguably the Autobots would have had the upper hand. The Decepticons would have plunged into infighting without Megatron. Maybe Starscream would have taken control, but there's enough Transformers media to suggest that that would have benefited the Autobots too. Fact 5. In the G1 Sunbow cartoon, Cliffjumper was voiced by American actor, DJ and radio presenter Casey Kasem. Casey Kasem was famous in the US for hosting the American Top 40, making Optimus Prime's request early in the Transformers the movie of Cliffjumper commence countdown, and Cliffjumper proceeding to count down from 5, a fun nod to the real-life Casey Kasem. Unfortunately, Casey Kasem passed away on 15th of June 2014 at the age of 82. Still, with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and numerous other accolades to his name, he leaves behind a legacy of incredible work. In addition to voicing Cliffjumper, Casey Kasem also voiced Bluestreak and Teletran 1 on the G1 Sunbow cartoon. Outside of Transformers, Casey Kasem provided his voice acting talents on numerous shows, including Super Friends and Battle of the Planets, but he was most famous outside of Transformers for being the first actor to voice Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo franchise. This is Prymus84, and you've been watching the 5 Facts of Prymus. Thanks for watching. Follow me if you want to see more Transformers facts, and let me know in the comments if I missed anything, got anything wrong, or if there's anything you want me to cover next.